Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday afternoon. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live video, and I just want to share some things this weekend. So, it's been a really energetic weekend, a lot of different types of energy going on, and that is because we had a full moon on Friday. We had an eclipse yesterday, and then even a comet. So, a lot of things going on right now in the universe and in our energetic fields. And there was something that kept coming up for me, and it had to do with fear. And there was some people might say is coincidences. I don't really think that way. Everything happens for a reason, and there's synchronicity in the universe. And I wanted to share because it was all coming up around fear. So on Friday was the full moon, and I have my own full moon ritual. And a full moon is a great time to write down the things that you just don't want anymore. All the limiting beliefs that are like just holding you back, things that you just want to release from yourself and your life and everything like that. So I usually do a small meditation, light some candles, maybe some incense, get my favorite crystals out, and then I write down a bunch of the things that I want to get rid of. And after that, I pull some cards from my angel decks, and then I burn the piece of paper and let it go. So when I was free writing some things, there were some specific things I knew I wanted to get rid of. But then there were some things that I just allowed to come to me. And a couple of things that kept coming up was this idea of fear and letting fear just kind of go away. And fear takes on different forms. Sometimes some of the forms are worry, stress, anxiety, doubt, lack of motivation, frustration. All of that is rooted in fear. So it was coming up as I was writing, but the word fear kept coming up as well. And then all of a sudden I was just called to free write and to just talk to my fear. And I started like visualizing what this fear was for me. And a distinct image came, and it was this like veil, this like, I don't know, almost like a fabric or something that like is in front of you. And that represented fear to me. And I just took that fear down, and I'm writing this and I'm talking about how I don't need you anymore, and I need to just put you away. And I put the fear, I crumpled it up, this big fabric blanket, whatever it was, and I thanked it because it taught me a lot. But I don't need it anymore. I don't want it anymore. I'm ready to move on. I don't need it to hold me back, to dim my light, anything. So I took that and I put it to the side. I put it in the corner. And so I'm writing all this down, right? And then I decide to pick my two cards that I have a Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel cards. And one of the cards that got picked was let fear go now. And I was like, okay, so this is definitely the time to let fear go, and it's coming up again, and this is crazy. So I was like, okay, I hear you. I hear the message loud and clear. Then I was like getting ready for my day the next day on Saturday, and the eclipse this time is about kind of taking the things that came up back in like September and like 6 months ago, and all the stuff that was happening then is going to kind of resurface, and allowing us to really purge it and let it go so that we can really be open to the next phase and the new stuff that's coming into our lives. So I had a lot going on in September. There was a lot of major life shifts and everything like that. And there are some things that are coming up now that I know that fear is holding me back from. So it makes sense that this is coming up, and it kind of makes me smile. So as I was like getting ready on Saturday yesterday, and one of the things I do in the shower too is just kind of like visualize the fears and the worry and the stress just like going away as, you know, the water is pouring down on me. And it dawned on me that literally 5 years ago to this weekend was my MFA thesis concert. And I wasn't wondering why the image of the veil was so prominent, because it's been an image I've used before, and specifically in my thesis. And so my thesis piece, I went to school for my Master's of Fine Arts in Dance. And so we had to create a dance and then write a big thesis on it. And my dance, I really wanted to focus on why people didn't perform optimally, like what gets in the way. And I wanted to study sports psychology and bring that into the dance world. And I remember at one point my advisor saying, but what's the dance about? Like, what is that going to be about? And I was like, I don't know. And I had this dream. And in that dream, I was telling my dancers to dance from the fear. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. So here we go. Fear coming up again, right? So this whole dance, which I'm going to put in the comments, I'm going to put a link to it because some of you might be interested in watching it, was all about these 5 individuals and the different fears that they had based on performance, anxiety, not being good enough, all of that sort of stuff. And to me, fear is not this wall, but it's this veil. It's this mask that is in front of us. We can see through it, and people can see through us, or see through it to see us. So it's not just this like door or wall, but it's masking us. It's masking our light. It's not allowing us to be fully seen and fully realized. And it's not allowing us to go and do what it is that we're meant to do. So in this dance and through my research with sports psychology and positive psychology and self-psychology, and shout out to one of my mentors, Carol Press, out in UC Santa Barbara. She wrote a wonderful book called The Dancing Self that literally changed my life. And I started learning that like we all have different ways of dealing with fear, and that's okay. And that the fear never actually goes fully away, but with help from friends, family, coaches, mentors, teachers, we can take that fear down. So literally in the dance, there's these big veils that go from like the ceiling down to the floor, and sometimes the dancers are behind them, sometimes they're in front of them, sometimes they dance away from them, because we can move on a little bit without our fears, but if we don't tackle them, they're always going to come back, right? If we don't learn how to use them to help us, they're always going to come back. They're never going to go away. And that is everything. Like if there's an issue in your life or a problem in your life, you can't ignore it. You can't run away from it. You have to work through it and find ways to work through it. And I promise you, when you do that, this thing that's like a black cloud will become something that means something that you've learned from, and that you're stronger because of it. So these dancers bring down the veils at different times, and they don't get rid of them. They just place them somewhere else on stage. So in my writing, I was talking about like placing it in a corner, because I want to know that it's there, and I want to be able to look back and see how far I've come. And I want the fear to see how much I am better off without it. I'm powerful, my light is shining, I'm empowered, I'm passionate, all of that. So we don't want to burn it, we don't want to destroy it, because it is what made us who we are, and there's something we learned from it. And so we want to have gratitude for that, because we can learn from our fears. We really should be learning from it, but we don't want them to hold us back. So I just started like putting all this together this weekend and was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And fear is something that's coming up a lot for a lot of us right now, with what's going on in our society and everything like that. And the more that we can be honest with ourselves, and the more that we can talk through things, the more that we can reach out for help, we can then use our fears to help us and bring us back together. I was at this wonderful women's self-care fair yesterday, and it was just really, truly magical to be around so many women and share some things that we all feel, and started realizing we all feel the same things. We're not alone. Shout out to Dear Evan Hansen. And, I'm directing the show Into the Woods, and that comes up a lot, as you're not alone. So I wanted to share all this. I'm going to check my notes for here a little bit. Because I want us all to step back and really get honest with ourselves, especially with this new energy, this exciting new energy that's coming with the eclipse, because we shouldn't let our fears hold us back anymore. We should want to move forward. So maybe write down a list of things that you're afraid of, things that you feel are making you not get to where you want to be, right? And just make a list of those things first. And then there are a lot of tools that I would love to share with you. So if you want to comment below or reach out to me, email me, Facebook me, and we can set up like a time to talk, I would love to talk to you about how to work through that. I'm also having a giveaway right now on Instagram. And on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, day of love for all of us, self-love, romantic love, however you want to look at it, I'm going to be picking 4 people that are each going to receive a free 45-minute coaching call with me, and then a week of unlimited email support. So it's a great way that if you're ever thinking about working with a coach, this is a way to do it. So there's really some simple rules. You just got to like some of the posts that I have there, tag 3 friends, follow me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram, and then you're entered to win. And the best part, you can tag 3 new people every day, and that ups your chances of winning. So please, like, go over to Instagram, stephanie.e.simpson. It's also listed here on my Facebook page. But I would love to talk to you about what you think is holding you back so that fear is not dimming your light anymore. Because right now in the world, more than any other time, we need everybody's light to be so bright, and we need the love to be shining out, because that's what's really going to help us individually and collectively as a community. So like I said, I'm going to post the link to the dance, because for some of you, that might be a really lovely way to see a more abstract way of how fear is. And know that, like, fear is also a really good thing. We need to have some fear, and fear is very close to excitement. So the other thing I did on Friday was I signed up to run with a charity for the New York City Marathon this year. And I was like super scared to do that. And it's definitely the fear and the ego and the limiting beliefs coming up. But at the same time, I'm really excited for it, like really excited for it. It's not going to be an easy road, but it's going to be fun. And I'm going to learn a lot about myself. I already have with all the running that I've been doing. And it's really awesome. And support is huge when you're trying to overcome something. So that is what I'm going to leave you today on this rainy day in New York City. But again, please share anything in the comments, any questions. If it's something you want more private, you can email me, direct message me, and feel free to take part in my giveaway. And I will talk to you soon. Have a lovely rest of your full moon and eclipse weekend. Bye.